say, I can't understand. Like, you're so tall. Look at these guys. I'm a midget.
Must have beat him to the plate.
What was that?
They must have beat you to the table.
Yeah. They beat me to the table and at the table they beat me. So I'd go to reach for the food and they, yeah. I pray that the words of my mouth and the meditation of each one of our hearts here today will be pleasing to God, who is our rock and our Redeemer. Home, sweet home. Welcome home. There's no place like home. Home is where the heart is. Home, sweet home. I bet you guys are wishing you sat in the background. What is it about home that makes it so special? That makes it so powerful? Yeah, I know, they're beautiful. You don't need to email me to let me know. I already know. Home is where you let your hair down, where you can relax, where you can kick off your shoes, and sit back, and let the troubles go away. Home is a place, for most of us, where you work very hard to make it the way that you want it to be. You choose the colors of the rooms. You choose the paintings that you hang on the walls. You choose the furniture that you include. You choose, for many of us, you choose where the home is. You choose the building itself, the style. Home is something that we work very hard to make a place of safety, a place of comfort, a place of peace and rest, a place where you can go and just be yourself. But home is not just about the building, is it? Home is about the people there. Home is a place where your closest confidants live side by side with you. They know your deepest, darkest, most annoying secrets, and they love you anyway. Home is a place where you can be yourself and know that you're accepted for who you are. Home has very powerful connotations in our society and around the world. So what is it that makes the Apostle Paul, after traveling 600 miles, most of which he did by foot or on a sailboat, travel 600 miles through illness, hard work, persecution, and attacks? What is it that after a year of being on the road makes Paul and Barnabas turn away from home? That's right, they turn away from home. Look at this map. Paul and Barnabas have traveled from Antioch to Seleucia, down Salamis, across the Cyprus. We've been studying this since the first week in May. We've been studying each of these passages as they went through each of these towns. They walked 100 miles across here to Paphos. They traveled across the ocean, the Mediterranean Sea. This is the northeast Mediterranean Sea. This is Turkey here. This is Syria and Israel down here, just to give you a perspective. They traveled up here to Italia, Perga, traveled up to Antioch, 100 miles, uphill to the mountaintop city of Antioch, 3,600 feet above the sea level, from sea level to 3,600 feet, sick. They did it while they were sick. And then another 60 miles over to Iconium, down to Lystra, down to Derbe. working for God, sharing the good news. As they got to the island, they started to tell people about Jesus. As they got to Paphos, remember, they got into conflict with the sorcerer named Bar-Jesus. And the miracle that happened there when Paul said, "You will be silent for a time, just like I was." And then they traveled to Perga, Pamphylia, Antioch, spreading the gospel as they went. When they got to Antioch, they had great success until the Jews got jealous. And they rallied the leadership of the town and had them banned and banished from the town, kicked out of town. So they traveled to Iconium. They traveled east to Iconium. And they were having great success there until the Jews from Antioch followed them there. And had the town gather together, and they were trying to kill them at Iconium until Paul and Barnabas found out about the plot. At which time they fled from Iconium south to Lystra, where their plot finally succeeded. And they attacked Paul, and they stoned him, and they threw him in a pit, and threw rocks at him until they thought he was dead. He was a bloody mess. They couldn't see him breathing. They thought, that problem is solved. And they went home. But God gave Paul the strength not only to survive, but to stand up and walk back into the town on his own. And Paul and Barnabas continued then to Derbe, where our story picks up today, in Derbe. What is this town over here? Do you recognize that town? Tarsus. Saul came from Tarsus. That's his hometown. After traveling nearly 600 miles, he is a mere 150 miles, 150, 160 miles from his hometown. It's through a pass in the mountains. He could have gotten there on the highway. They could have been there in a few days. He could have taken Barnabas. He said, "Barnabas, you are going to be so excited when you get to my hometown. You're going to love it. This time of year, they have the streets decorated with olive wreaths. They've pruned the olive trees. They've got the streets decorated with these wreaths. It's great. Oh, I can hardly wait to show you my house. My mom, she's going to cook us some of her apple pie. It's famous in Tarsus. Oh, just wait till we get there. You wouldn't believe what we did as kids. I'll show you my neighbor's rock, where I squeezed all the grease out of his grease gun all over the rock. And when they asked me what happened, I said they're dead worms and cut off their heads. They didn't fall for that. I don't know why. I'll show you where we set up the 50-gallon drums and had our brother jump off it with his bicycle. Remember that? He survived. Oh, Barnabas, you're going to love it at Tarsus. And so am I. We're going to get the much needed rest after we tried to be killed by these people that were trying to tell about Jesus. We'll finally get the kick back, take off our shoes, let our hair down, and relax. It's about time. We've worked hard. 600 miles on foot is not easy. But they don't do that.